What's important for me is that we humans have a connection in our heart with all there is, and you have had this experience where you have been in the state where you were seeing the other reality, but most of us don't have that. But for me it's important that we go away from our brain thinking and from our gut feeling, which can be manipulated. Our heart cannot be manipulated because that's on a higher frequency than these forces have. They can't reach it. So what is your message to the people to overcome all these things over the heart and in your daily life?
Well, there's an organization in America called the HeartMath Institute that's done a lot of work looking at the power of the heart, not the power of the physical heart, though they are connected. Well, not a physical heart, of course, but this vortex, series of vortexes through the body which interpenetrate different levels of being in the human energetic fields we call the body, and they have different points of interaction with the wider reality. The brain is basically a low level, compared with this, is a low level of perception. The brain thinks, and the brain thinks for a simple reason: it doesn't know. So it has to work it out, or try to work it out. The emotional vortex chakra in the belly, that doesn't think, it reacts. It reacts with an emotional response, doesn't think. So what humanity has had done to it is it's been manipulated out of the heart interaction with the wider reality, which I'll come to, and into a combination of the gut, emotional response without thinking, and thinking which doesn't know. That's why it's trying to work it out. Now, just look at the body language, which tells you everything. Body language is an open book on so much. People say, I'm thinking, hold on, I'm thinking. They're pointing to the head, because that's where they think. When they know, where do their hands go? Where do our hands go? I just know. They go here instinctively, because this knows, because it's connected to a level of consciousness beyond this program, beyond this manipulation, that does know. That's why it knows. I just intuitively know. I don't know why I've got to be there, but I just know I have. And you go there, and suddenly some synchronistic thing happens, which wouldn't have got done if you'd have listened to this, which is going, "What are you going to go there for? That's ridiculous. You've got an appointment tomorrow." You know, which is always trying to talk us out of following this. I mean, if I look at my life over the last nearly 30 years, when I've been on this journey, it's simply been one thing. When this and this have been in conflict, I've gone with this. Simple as that. So I've uncovered all this information. It's because this has led me to it. This would have said, "Oh, you don't have to go there tomorrow." No, I know. Think of the inconvenience. Doesn't matter. I know. And what if you look at the details of the way the manipulation works, and the way it's worked in the deeper in the shadows, it's to shut this down. It's to shut this down. People ask, should I go with my heart? I mean, the language is looking us in the face. Should I go with my heart? Should I go with my head? What does your gut tell you? What does your gut tell you? What does my emotions tell me? Should I go with my head? Or let me have a think. Should I go with my heart? I know. And so this has been shut down. And if you look at the world that's depicted in the Avatar movies with the Na'vi, the blue people, they were a heart society, in the sense that through the heart they knew that everything was one.
They connect to trees and animals.
Exactly. They were communicating with the trees. They were communicating with the animals, because they were able to do that because they were tapping into a field of consciousness which the animals and trees and the natural world are also tapped into, and therefore it's like a bush telegraph, if you like. You could describe it as. That's where the communication was possible, so what they were doing was communicating from the heart. And what has happened to humanity is we've been pulled out of the heart into the head and the gut. If you look at the way people respond and view the world and interact with the world, it's either from the head or it's from the gut, emotion. It's increasingly emotion. That's why we live in an increasingly post-fact world. It's because it's all coming from emotion, nothing to do with fact. We're even being pulled out of the head into that now. How many interact with the world through their heart, through their intuition, through their empathy with what other people are suffering? Because this is where we get empathy from, this is where we get compassion from, this is where we get true love from, not attraction love as I call it, or mind love. Ooh, yeah, fancy you, you look nice. Instead, it's this connection, which manifests itself, funnily enough, not in, ooh, you look nice, or oh, yeah, I like that, it manifests as friendship. Friendship. Think of friendship.
From heart to heart.
Heart to heart. That's what friendship is.
Yeah.
But because we connect love with men and women, or men and men, women and women, whatever, being attracted to each other and having sex, that's love. No, that's attraction. You can have that and friendship, but how many relationships have the attraction, but they don't have the friendship? They don't last that long, do they?
Yeah.
So if I'm attracted to you, and person's attracted to me on this level, then a relationship might start. But most of those kind of relationships become wars of control. Who's going to control the relationship? You're not doing what I want. You're not doing what I want. Oh no, you do that to me, I'm leaving. Slam.
Yeah.
What does friendship do? It's a great line. A friend is the one who walks into the room when everyone else walks out. Because friendship, a heart friendship, which is what friendship really is, true friendship, says, I don't agree with what you've done, but I'm here for you. It's a completely different level of connection to, how dare you do that to me, I'm going home to my mother, slam.
Actually, you come around a lot. You have been on a world tour. I come around a lot also, and there are people sometimes, they are cold, you don't feel them on the heart level. They can be highly intelligent, they can be very successful, but you don't feel them.
Exactly.
But there's, in my impression, there are much more people than you think who are really hearty people and nice, and it doesn't describe it maybe good, but who really have this heart feeling. Average people, wherever we are around, what's your perception? Can they really kill all that people, humans have?
Well, what they're trying to do is complete the job of destroying that through connecting us to artificial intelligence. Part of that will be to shut down the heart completely. But because the heart is so powerful, the energy is so powerful, the level of frequency it's connected to is so powerful, they have to work 24/7 all the time to keep that closed. And you know, it's like, you know, we had that. I'll give you an example of how it can just break out. You know, the tower block in London that was subject to that extraordinary fire, which was just burned the place down. Lots and lots of people died. Yeah. Children.
Much more than here.
Children died, and people lost family, loved ones. It was absolutely horrific. Now, in that tower block were Muslims and different people from different cultures, white people, whatever. And if you look at that from the perception of many people, which is, you know, racial tension and racial prejudice and all that. And maybe, I'm sure, without any question, people would have looked at what was the kind of people that were in that block, and they would have had a racial standpoint, or maybe a racial prejudice, whatever. But when that burnt down, in the extraordinary horror of it, that went out the window. Not with everybody, because some people are so bigoted they'll never recover in this lifetime. But people, suddenly it was like, boom. What's it matter what color they are? What's it matter where they came from? What's it matter what their religion is? And so there's this great outpouring of compassion. But then, of course, what happens is, like the initial reaction response, the compassionate response, the empathetic response, then people get on with their lives, and things come up in the news to take the place of Grenfell House, the Tower Block, and what happened there, and people go back. If we could just hold that instead of going back to this, then the world will be a very, very different place, because this knows that your color, your creed, your religion, it doesn't matter. It's just an illusion, a set of experiences, an illusory set of labels. This lives that world. Yeah. This knows it's a nonsense.
Those forces try to keep us in fear. They have terror attacks all the time, and people are not reacting like they think we should react. That they say we need more police. Okay, that's being said, but actually there should be civil war by now through all these terrorist attacks. But people are much more, they're not reacting the way the Archons think we react. Do you see that?
Well, this Joe has been one of the great powers of the alternative media, because before the alternative media started communicating in any way widely, while we were still putting leaflets out, people got their version of a world event, a terrorist attack, a war, whatever, from the mainstream news. So of course they got the official narrative unquestioned overwhelmingly, with a few honorable exceptions, and they are a few. And so their perceptions were formed from that knowledge. Some people had a natural skepticism about authority and maybe said, I'm not sure I believe that, but most people did, because there was no other narrative. There was no, if a terrorist attack happened, there was no other explanation for it except the one you saw on the news or read in the newspaper. What the alternative media has done, why they're trying to delete it, is say, actually, there's another way of looking at this. Like, what if they were just creating a problem here on purpose so that they could offer a solution to the problem to change the world in ways that would never have been allowed had they not had the problem, with what I call problem, reaction, solution. And people have gone, well, actually, that sounds as if that, could have sympathy with that. And then they watch that actually, as a result of that attack or whatever it is, whatever the problem is, they actually have done now what people in the alternative media said they would do as a result of this. And people have gone, well, hold on a minute. So when the next one comes along, then they're no longer saying, oh yeah, it's on the news, this is what happened. They're going, well, hold on a minute. And this is what we're talking about. The fact that people are now more and more questioning, I mean, RT, the Russian station, has this mantra and kind of slogan of question more. No, question everything.